I feel like there were always 10 impressions inside of Robin Williams and only one could get out at a time, but that didn't stop the other 9 from like banging on the door and trying to get out at the same time. So he's like, I gotta, he's like trying to put out his impression while battling back the other 9 that are fighting for
dominance.
For front spot.
He's like a San Francisco guy.
Is he?
Yeah, he's from San Francisco. He lived here. And that's why there's like the Robin Williams tunnel across the Golden Gate Bridge, right on the other side of the Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh.
I think that's him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe you.
Yeah, he's a San Francisco guy. Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knew?
Apparently you did.
I guess I was watching some YouTube of some classic Robin Williams, and he was like, "Yeah, I live in San Francisco." Yeah. Well, and I was like, "Oh, dang!"
And now every one of our listeners knows.
There you go. That's the beauty of knowledge spreading around the world. Should we kick this off?
Let's do it.
Hey, everyone.
Welcome to Solutions from the Multiverse. I'm Scott Maupin.
I'm Adam Braus.
You're listening to the podcast where we bring you new solutions every week, or try to give you new stuff that you never heard of and make it entertaining.
That's the goal. Entertainment. Inform, persuade, entertain.
And ultimately changing the world for the better. I mean, that's our minor mission statement, I think.
I think that's our humble mission.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have grandiose missions, but the humble mission is to indelibly change the world.
If we happen to entertain someone, okay, but we're definitely going to change the world for the better.
Yeah, that's right. I feel like that's a common San Francisco thing. We're going to change the world.
1,000%.
All we have to do is make this scam cryptocurrency.
It does seem like the other half of that sentence a lot of time is I have the perfect thing to change the world.
It's also going to make me hugely wealthy.
But also it's like the other half is I need tons of people to act exactly as I would like them to act and no differently.
Right.
You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, right. This is going to segue directly into this solution, which you just said there.
What do we got?
Because people have to do what I'm suggesting. That's the solution. It's okay. Here, it's a diet one. We're going to talk about food, healthy food.
Okay.
And I want you to bring the skepticism because who knows? Food stuff's weird.
Skepticism on healthy food? Yeah, I'll bring it.
Okay. Salad, pretty skeptical. Skeptical about the salad. Okay, so I've been doing a deep dive into this whole sugar thing. Okay. People are like kind of more skeptical about sugar than ever before.
Classically, sugar has no negative side effects and everyone loves it, and
exactly
healthy for everybody.
Right, but if you eat
unlimited
fat,
amounts.
right, but if you eat fat, you will instantly die. So you have to cut all the fat off your steaks. And you have to avoid butter and avoid everything that's fat free. But sugar's just like heavenly dust given, from heaven, sprinkled down on all of our food, and we can just eat as much of it as we like.
Well, and we have to add it to make up for all that taste we lost by cutting the fat out.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about sugar. So it wouldn't be a new idea. There's podcasts about new ideas or new solutions. So it wouldn't be a new solution to say, don't eat sugar as much or like whatever. That's people, I think, a lot of people that we're kind of waking up to that.
Heard it from my dentist since I was a kid.
Well, but the dentist thing is about your teeth. I'm talking about obesity and heart disease and diabetes, metabolic disorders.
I mean, I don't think they were unaware of that. They were just...
Why were they always talking? That was the funny, even up until like a year ago, I think even this year too, I heard people saying, well, kids with their candy, and then they were like, cavities. I was like, are we living on the same planet? Like kids with their candy, crippling child obesity epidemic. Like that's where my head goes.
Well, you can't get a 4-year-old on board for not eating candy by going, well, heart disease further in your future. They're going to say, no, I'm not.
Kids are not in charge of what they eat. The adults are. At
a point, the kids get a little bit of,
but I mean,
they're squirrely. They can get their hands on stuff.
The dentists are saying I just can't understand. The focus stays on the cavities.
Yes.
I ate candy like a mofo when I was a kid. I don't have a single cavity. I don't even know if it has to do with sugar. I think it has to do just with your teeth. Genetically, they're either hard or they're soft.
All right. Okay, super teeth.
Right? Yeah, I guess. Jeez. Oh, did I just reveal my superpower? Is that my I always feel like X-Men, you have like Omega mutants who can bend space-time with their minds. And then there must have been like me, just they have really good teeth. Teeth that never get a cavity. It's like really good at fighting off bacteria, or like someone who's like, I'm really good at ping pong, but if I try to play competitively, I choke every time. That must have been an X-Man. So they just whoop everybody. But then as soon as they try to go play in like competitions, they just totally screw up.
Oh, who are we
They're
gonna
like
get?
sweating and just like, oh, I can't see straight. I'm so stressed.
Who do we get for this mission? Get practice ping pong. Awesome, go. Oh, wait, but this is a real thing.
This is high stakes.
He's gonna flame
He's gonna
out.
lose. He's gonna choke. Anyways, the problem is sugar is a major issue for obesity, all these things. Okay, but there's something. Okay, so here's the new idea. This is the new thing that I've been digging into. Fructose. I think fructose is much worse for you than glucose.
Okay.
In 2 ways, or 3 ways, really. One is it makes your body produce fat more than glucose.
Okay.
Well, we can talk more about that. The second thing is that it makes you have, I think, more metabolic disorders. Like not just fat, but like diabetes and like just like, or not just diabetes, more like just other diabetic, like like really like being heavier than you ought to be metabolically.
Okay.
Like you eat a bunch of glucose. My argument would be if you eat a bunch of glucose, you won't get as like morbidly, like you won't get like really metabolically screwed up.
Well, like the way that sodium can make you retain water, you're saying that this can make you retain mass.
So yeah, it's not,
it
gums up
degree.
the works.
Okay.
It gums up the works. Like your brain runs on glucose. It doesn't run on fructose. Like glucose is absorbed right away. Fructose is kind of this complex thing. Okay. And then the third thing, you will not believe this, but there's been recent research to show that the spike in asthma that we've seen in the last 50 years might be wholly attributable to fructose.
Really?
I mean, air pollution probably also attributed to that to some
that's what
extent.
I was thinking.
To some extent.
Yeah.
But a portion of it could be attributed to fructose.
Which would be a thing that they wouldn't think automatically to check.
Right.
Because they're like, check the lungs.
But they find that if you eat a lot of fruit, it has to do with the way your body metabolizes fructose, which is not, it's totally a different pathway than the way your body metabolizes glucose. Glucose, it can literally get into your blood through your gut, and then it just literally gets picked up by the cells and used. But fructose can't be. Fructose has to go and be broken down either in the gut or in the liver. And it's a weird thing. Fructose is a weird thing. People should be like way more suspect of fructose than we are.
So the asthma thing is saying that the fructose is changing the way the lungs interact and making them have more problems, not that it's an immune stuff in the air that's going into unaffected lungs.
Right. Because asthma is essentially an allergy, right? It's your immune system attacking your lung
reacting
tissue.
Right. Yeah.
And the reason they think the fructose might be the cause is because when you get this is the weird thing about fructose. If you have glucose together with fructose, your body uses the glucose in your gut to metabolize the fructose in your gut. But if your body uses up all that glucose in the gut, so all that glucose filters out into the blood and goes and gets used, but the gut still has fructose in it,
right?
It actually has to push it over to the liver, and the fructose goes to the liver. This is my understanding of it. I'm not an expert. I'm sure some metabolic scientist can tell me I forgot something. But this is my basic understanding from reading 2 or 3 articles over the past few, not just blog posts, like scientific. I like reading science.
Diving in, deep dive.
Deep dive.
Yeah.
So basically, it gets pushed over to the liver. When it gets to the liver, it basically tells the liver to make fat. It's like a huge signal to the liver. Do what's called lipidasis or whatever, creating fat, putting your body into fat-making mode. And so long as the fructose is in the gut, it does that. And so my theory is that an imbalance of fructose to glucose in our food is making so there's a lot of what is called free fructose. This is not my word. This is from these research. Free fructose, which means fructose that didn't get digested in the gut and is hanging around in the liver, keeping your body in fat production mode. And that's why Americans are so damn fat. I mean, no offense to everybody, because there's all things tied up with this, body image and things like that and beauty standards, whatever. I'm not talking all about that. I'm just talking about health. And America, people are so fat. And if you go abroad, they're not. It's weird.
Yeah, there's a definite thing based on our diets here.
Something
that you don't see when you go to places where they don't have the diet. It's just...
Yeah, and you go to France, they're eating a lot of fat. They're eating bacon, they're eating, right, and they're drinking wine, and they're smoking cigarettes, and they just don't for some reason. So I have this theory that's this fructose thing.
Now, my 7th grade health science teacher is going to be mad, but I'm trying to remember how this sugars work. Are there 3? There's fructose, glucose, and sucrose. Is that one well?
I think it's the sucrose is one, but I think sucrose is just glucose and fructose put together is sucrose.
Oh, okay.
But there is a third. There is lactose, which is different metabolically.
Okay.
So fructose and glucose and lactose, which is like milk sugar. Fructose is fruit sugar. Glucose is just sugar and everything.
Okay.
And then lactose is sugar and milk. There's different variances of just glucose. So maltose is 2 glucose molecules put together in one orientation. Dextrose, which is like corn sugar, is 2 glucose molecules put together in a different orientation. So they're still just glucose. And when your body eats dextrose or maltose, it just instantly turns into glucose. There's no need to like do a lot of chemical work to do that. But with fructose, it's not. It's more complex, and it has to do this actual metabolic process to break it down into glucose and use it.
I hear that if you go into the jungle, if you welcome yourself into the jungle, you get axlerose.
Axlerose is a delicious jungle sugar.
Axlerose.
Dude, that sugar rocks. It totally rocks. It's so awesome.
That was so
it
bad.
actually
I'm
comes
so sorry.
in rock
I'm
form.
so sorry, everyone.
It's a rock sugar, you know?
I give it to the sweet child of mine that I...
Excellent. Yeah. That little brown-eyed girl.
Okay, so glucose you're finding in... You said fructose I'm finding in fruit.
Fruit, but this is the problem. It's in... So table sugar is sucrose. Sucrose is 55% fructose, 45%. Basically 50-50, but it can vary, you know, but it's somewhere around even a little more fructose than glucose. Okay. So, and all added sugar, whenever you see added sugar, that's always going to be sucrose. It's always going to be half glucose, half fructose.
So how do we... Your solution is to get rid of fructose, but how do we do that?
Let's cut fructose out of people. Let's especially out of processed foods. But here's the thing. All these like no sugar people are like, eat cardboard, you know, like don't
no,
eat.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, don't eat sweets, don't eat candy, don't eat cake. And everyone looks at them and is just like, you are an idiot. These things give us joy. These things are good. And when I go to Japan, for example, and I see them eating legions of white rice, I'm like, how are they not fat? They're even that's like, I mean, white rice almost instantly turns into glucose in your bloodstream. I mean, it's like very fast because it's just a long
pasta
chain.
and rice convert real quick.
Yeah, and what I learned is they convert directly into glucose, not fructose.
Oh,
because carbohydrates, long chain carbohydrates, all turn into glucose, not fructose. There's no fructose in them unless you do added sugar. Then you're adding about 50% of the added sugar is fructose. So
and we add sugar to everything in our country. And
yes,
I lived in Japan for 6 years. That is not the case there.
No.
It is not. There are things with sugar in them, and there are things without sugar in them, and they are not. It's not added into everything.
Right. And I know that generationally, Japanese people right now, they are starting to see childhood obesity because they've added so much sugar to all the new foods, like children's foods and things, candies and sodas.
Because a zillion McDonald's have now opened up in Japan that didn't used to be there.
So here's the thing. And this is the same thing with high fructose corn syrup. People are like, oh, high fructose corn syrup, it's bad, you know. But actually, high fructose corn syrup, it is bad because you can get a lot more sugar in through high fructose corn syrup. Like you can't dilute enough sucrose into water to get it as sweet as like a Coca-Cola with high fructose corn syrup. Yeah. So it is worse in that way, is that it can put in more sugar than you can even dilute into water. You know, so it's sort of terrifying that way. But the other thing about high fructose corn syrup is in the name. High fructose corn syrup. It's 55+% fructose, just like table sugar, but some of it has even more. Okay. If you have a high fructose content, you're going to have more free fructose, this free fructose concept where you run out of the glucose you need in the gut to digest the fructose, and you end up pushing it to the liver and having it kind of gunk up your and doing other weird things, screwing up your immune system and potentially causing asthma and other maybe other metabolic things. People also there's all this like I didn't see any research about this, but there's all this IBS, and people have this sort of gluten intolerance, and they have all this gut stuff and immune system stuff that's happening, and no one really knows what's going on. Something's in our environment. Maybe it's this fructose stuff. And I can't say scientifically about those. The only evidence I saw was about asthma.
Well, no, but I mean, every doctor, every scientist from every discipline, be it like paleontology up through like current health cardiology, they're just like, no, the human body is not designed to onboard this much sugar this often.
Right.
It was never like that when you were like a non-civilized cave like society. You weren't finding Skittles every 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
Those were just called ladybugs.
Yeah. Sometimes during some seasons, if you were lucky, you'd find
one
some fruit that kind of sucked.
Yeah.
And that was awesome.
It wasn't
for you.
Sweet.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a modern apple.
It was a bush with berries.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Yeah. Well, the modern apple compared to like the ancient prehistoric apple was probably like a crab apple.
Yeah, of course.
Know? And now the modern apple can bear, like the trees bend over with the heaviness of the fruit because of it.
Yeah, we're like, regular apples, those are crappy. We got a honey crisp. We have a sugar center. We have a sweet peat.
They even
apple,
called them
exactly
crab apples, which when I was a kid, I always thought they said crap apples. I was like, yeah, you're hell right. Those aren't crap apples.
Like,
those
whoa,
are
we're just really just being blunt here.
Wow.
I guess.
Ooh, crap apples.
While we're at it, can I talk to you about the crap crackers that we got going on here? I mean, as long as we're just putting our cards down.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to tell you.
Really junk stuff.
You've been making some bad choices at the market.
So one thing I want to make sure people don't, from what I understand, I want to make sure people don't get confused that I'm not saying your body still produces insulin for glucose. Mm-hmm. That's how your body metabolizes, like keeps the level of sugar at the right level. And if you get too much glucose, you absolutely will produce a ton of insulin. So you have to limit your sugar content if you're diabetic. And if you are at risk of becoming diabetic, fructose, glucose, it kind of doesn't matter. Sugar in aggregate will give you diabetes if you have too much of it. So you want to lower your total. America's got to lower its total amount of sugar. But the question is, what if we can get our sweets and eat them too? What if we cut the fructose down by, 4/5 or something, or just cut it out essentially completely, except for maybe when you eat fruit, because obviously you can't take it out of a natural fruit.
Yeah.
But take it out of your diet in other places so that you can eat fruit and still metabolize the fructose without getting this free fructose phenomenon.
Well, yeah, that is the other side benefit. If you can manage to do this, fruit is going to taste amazing. It's never going to have tasted better if you deprive yourself of all the artificial fructose in your environment when you come in contact with that straight up like bunch of cherries that are in season. You're just like, oh, this is divine. This is perfect.
Oh, that's a good point. You kind of get this
you reset. So I have a problem with sugar where I will drink soda. Soda's my thing where I'll go crazy on soda and then I will cut it out completely and have nothing for months and months and months. Mm-hmm. And then I'll go back on and then just binge on soda for tons and tons, and I'll do that as a cycle. And I understand, but when I'm off soda, after a while, you re-regulate. You kind of reset you reset your limits on what your body kind of re-regulates what it expects. Yeah. And then when you after months of not having a soda, you try it again. You're just like, whoa. That is overly sweet.
I can't drink soda.
Exactly, because it hasn't. But if you force it into you, eventually it kind of dulls that sense
down.
And you can, but it's not healthy. It just is your body going all right, fine, you're going to steamroll me.
Right.
Bring it on in. I'm not going to react so amazingly to each piece because it's here all the time now. But yeah, you reset your tolerance essentially for fructose. And then when you come into contact with actual fructose, when you would have normally come into it rules. You're just
I love that. Yeah. Resetting it. And I want to be sure too that sugar is still sugar and it's still sweet. Glucose, that's the thing. Okay, so what I brought with me a prop today.
Ooh, yeah, I like props.
Yeah. Okay, so I was looking around and I was like, how can we get a sweetener that has no fructose?
Okay.
So for example, some sweeteners have lots of fructose. Mm-hmm. Agave syrup is 90% fructose.
Whoa.
People think it's healthy, right?
Sure, that's what I've heard, right?
Not healthy.
Okay.
Less healthy than high fructose corn syrup.
Well, table sugar you said was half
table
fructose.
Sugar is 50% fructose. Okay, zero fructose.
Yeah.
Brown rice syrup sweetener.
Brown rice syrup.
Yeah.
So,
or you can do
Adam has
corn syrup. Not high fructose corn syrup, but just straight corn syrup.
So Adam has brought a bottle out of a bag, and it's a Scot. I thought it was honey at first.
Yeah, it looks like honey,
but it's got a sort of a brown amber sort of flavor, and it says organic brown rice
Here,
syrup.
We're gonna try some.
You're gonna feed me sugar live on mic?
You live pure glucose.
I knew there was a reason I was doing this podcast with you.
It might have some maltose in it too, just because natural things have more than they have a couple different things in them. But it's no fructose.
This is no fructose, pure.
Honey is also 50% fructose.
Really? Oh man, you hear honey's the way to go too.
The only two things that I could find that don't have fructose is brown rice syrup and corn syrup. So okay, let's try them.
We're about to just down 2 spoonfuls of brown rice sugar. All right, I'm going.
Brown rice syrup, yeah. This was, I think, $8 for a little thing of it.
That is pleasantly sweet.
It's good, right?
It's very nice, and it's not overpowering.
It's not overpowering.
It's not like, even like honey has kind of like an immediate zing, and this is not. This is much more like.
I mean, it's super sweet though.
Oh, it's
totally sweet. Yeah.
No, it's very pleasantly sweet. Like it's sweet throughout.
Yeah,
that's really nice. That's cool? Very nice. Yeah,
no fructose, and this is like organic brown rice here. It is like, I think it was a little more expensive than other things. Not agave syrup, and that's insane expensive.
So would you use this in like a recipe that called for sugar? Would you use this?
I think
instead?
You can replace honey with it.
Or honey.
So anything that says honey, you could do it. Because if you do sugar, it's dry. Right. This is like a semi-solid, like a liquid, like honey. So it's going to bring a little moisture. It's going to bring some moisture.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know if you can adjust if someone's like a baker,
that's cool.
And they know how to adjust.
Sure.
So corn syrup, people, when you hear that, you think that must be terrible for you.
Right.
It's just pure glucose. It actually, if this research is correct, it actually may be way healthier for you than high fructose corn syrup.
Whoa. Okay, so regular corn syrup.
It's just syrup.
What you're saying is regular corn syrup, thumbs up. High fructose corn syrup, thumbs down.
Yeah.
Completely different, even though I would put them in I would absolutely put them in the same category of whichever category I'm putting in.
Might be totally different. I mean, this research we need a lot more research on this. People need, because we're only realizing, I mean, I've talked to nutritionists in the last 2 years who still believe that calorie is a calorie is a calorie. It doesn't matter what you eat as long as you limit your calories, which has been totally disproven by science. If you eat 100 calories of fat versus 100 calories of protein versus 100 calories of sugar, your body metabolizes them completely differently. And the sugar is definitely the one that is the least, healthy for you to have.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
If you tell me I'm as healthy as a person who eats 1,000 calories of broccoli when I have 1,000 calories of pizza, I'm not going to believe you. I know enough now. I know that that's not true.
So so we have this bias against corn syrup because it seems unhealthy, corn syrup. But actually, if we wanted to have sweet foods, because we like sweet foods, because American cuisine is sweet. We like sweets. Mm-hmm. If we wanted to have our sweets, and maybe we'd be a little puffy, and we may still struggle with diabetes because glucose makes your body release insulin the same way, but we may not encounter as much obesity or heart disease, and asthma, because those all come from real, like the actual fat in your arteries. Glucose doesn't make fat in your arteries. Glucose just makes fat in your underneath your skin, but not in your organs. Yes. So glucose creates subcutaneous fat, but liver fat is what creates brown fat that goes in your organs, like heart disease.
That's the bad stuff.
If we ate if we sweeten things with corn syrup and brown rice syrup and dextrose, which is just corn syrup dried out, it's just corn sugar, we might, and we need more research on this, we might actually make a society where we could have sweet food, but not die of heart disease as much, not get asthma as much, and not be obese. We might be kind of puffy and round, but we wouldn't be like organ fat, in our organs underneath our muscle fat.
A better sense of temperance, like more of a middle ground.
Yeah, but we could still be eating sugar and having Halloween candy and getting cakes and cookies. And see, that's the thing. All these people who are against sugar, bless their hearts, but they're like doing this like austerity thing. It's like Americans just like sweets. It's fine. Let's figure out a way for them to have their sweets without having them have horrible metabolic disorders.
Right. Yes. I have done this before where I have gone to buy stuff for making whatever. I think it was even like Christmas treats where we're making popcorn balls or something like that, where I buy a a bottle of corn syrup. I remember seeing.
And what were you using it for?
I feel like we were making popcorn balls maybe for Christmas. Okay. I don't remember, but it was some sort of sweets baking thing.
Want some more?
Yeah,
want some more
for sure.
Want another
hit
of no. Brown.
We're talking about how healthy
syrup.
this is, and we're sitting here.
Well, I mean, it's not. That's the thing. It's not. That's the thing. We don't want to give people the impression that eating pure sugar is healthy, but it may be that it doesn't lead to as much of like severe metabolic disorders.
This is my second spoonful of brown rice syrup, and I think I might be a bodybuilder now.
It's super good. Yeah,
no, it's good.
You are looking beefy as of one spoonful of brown rice sugar ago.
Bro, are you working out? No, man. I just got a little rice sugar in my diet.
Yeah, totally.
People love hearing people eat on mic.
Yeah, it tastes so good. It tastes like
it's very nice.
It tastes like toasted honey.
Yes,
that's what it tastes like.
Yeah,
it's honey, but a little toasted.
It does have like a little earthy. You can kind of get the hint of the,
and it has the viscosity of honey. Like totally,
yeah, it totally looks like honey.
You know what I would like to make out of this? Because maple syrup also 50% fructose. Fructose is I want to turn this into like a maple syrup replacement.
Well, I was saying I felt bad when I bought the corn syrup stuff because I was just like, oh well, this is the worst because I hear high fructose corn syrup and I'm buying corn syrup that's not high fructose corn, but I'm like, I'm definitely flirting with the same sort of problematic situation here. So I've got a bad substance, and so now hearing this retroactively makes me feel way better, and I'll be paying more attention to this.
Yeah,
that's
isn't
cool.
that weird? Yeah, because we had corn syrup ever since the 30s, right? But we didn't have mass obesity until the 80s.
Yeah, well, when they
created high fructose,
discovered, look, we can then add less of this substance and really turn up the sweetness.
Also, sugar. I'm not 100% certain about this, but I'm pretty sure most of the white table sugar in America is beet sugar, which has 50% fructose or more.
Okay.
But I don't know if sugar cane actually has as much fructose in it. Let me just check here what the fructose content of sugar cane is.
And things like aspartame or Equal or Splenda, is that like just a completely different? We're not talking about sugar at all. We're talking about like
those are like
other
artificial.
things. Yeah. Okay. Stevia, that sort of. Those are different arenas.
Okay, so fructose is in sugar cane as well. So if you have cane sugar, it also
you can't escape it.
It also has fructose. Yeah.
So what would your campaign to get people to change their eating habits look like? What would be your ad slogan?
I mean, I'm all about giving people things. I want to give people things, not try to like take them away or shame them or So what I would say is there's maybe the solution for this episode is I think there's a huge opportunity here to create healthy sugar options where you say, this is sugar, but it doesn't have fructose in it. Or you find out that exact proportion where maybe it's only 10% fructose or something. And you say, hey, this is like sugar light. Like literally it's sugar light. Because I couldn't find that. Like I couldn't find a granulated table sugar that performed like sugar that was pure glucose. I couldn't find that. That did not exist. You can get like super fine powdered dextrose. It's like powdered sugar. It's slightly more granular than powdered sugar, but it's way less granular than table sugar.
Right.
And it wouldn't feel normal using that around your kitchen.
The people buying that are probably like in the food industry making like.
Yeah, it comes in these huge bags. And you dump it in and you use it for beer brewing. People use it for brewing beer and stuff. But yeah, someone could totally make a maple syrup substitute out of brown rice syrup. Someone could totally make a honey alternative brown rice syrup. Someone could totally make a table sugar made out of dextrose. Just granulated. It can't be that hard. And now just sell granulated dextrose.
You just have to get over the hump of people understanding why to go with that. Like
it's
why
healthier.
that? Like it's your sugar without sugar with half the consequences or whatever.
Sugar with half the consequences. Yes, half. Because it's not no consequences.
Right.
If you eat a ton of it, you'll still get fat, but not in the same way. And you will still, you could get diabetic from it.
Sure.
But you won't have the other metabolic problems.
I wonder if
maybe the research is early on this, but
I wonder if the crash is different because you hear that's the other thing is with the using up a bunch of candy or artificial sugar, you get the energy, but then you've got the crash.
You're going to have the same thing.
Okay.
Because glucose makes your body produce insulin great. Like that is really the thing. Like that's going to make you produce a ton of insulin. So you'll still have, sugar, I have too much sugar and then a super crash because of insulin. That'll still happen. And if you eat a lot of it, you'll still get fat, but it'll be subcutaneous fat more than organ fat. And you'll still get diabetes. So, I mean, you still have to limit your sugar intake.
Yeah.
But this may just avoid, these other problems.
When you're describing it like that, I feel like I've come in contact with glucose-like supplements when I dabbled with the idea that I could be a runner for a little bit. And they were like, oh, you need to carry these packets of gel so that when you're running and you start bonking, you can eat your glucose gel because your body can't take protein in and use it right away, but glucose it goes straight in, boom, and it's like this is a healthy way to get your energy and continue to stay in the right zone of whatever. I didn't. If you look,
you just bought a ton of those and ate them on the couch. You sucked them down while you were watching. I was Rick and Morty.
So I take this when I go running, and I was like, let me try the first one. I'm like, you know what? I don't have to go running. I can just eat these all. They're all right here. I don't have to run anywhere. But yeah, I mean, the glucose being that was just me telling you that I understand that, and it's been a thing where the glucose being readily available for your body. That's a real thing. That's
Yeah, glucose. I mean, glucose is definitely important for your body. I mean, your brain can only run on glucose, like your entire brain.
Maybe your brain, bro.
It can't.
Maybe your brain.
My brain runs on.
My brain runs on all sorts of stuff.
All crazy stuff, man.
My brain runs on genius ideas and being awesome.
And unicorn dust.
By the way, I paid someone to level me up on this dating app.
Oh,
it's
God.
Great.
One of those. Of these guys.
I'm going to date only the coolest people in the world.
They call me Brain Bro. That's actually my handle, Brain Bro. I'm the Brain Bro. Oh, God. But no, yes, your brain runs on glucose, so you need glucose. But I mean, your body can turn anything into glucose. It can turn protein into glucose. I mean, it's just really hard for your body to do it because it has to go through like 12 different metabolic chemical. Like your body's like a huge freaking chemistry experiment, right? Like it can do all these crazy things. But if you just give it what it needs, then it just runs. Yeah. So yeah, isn't that interesting? What if we could have what if we could have America, sweet country? I mean, that's always what I notice when I come back to America too from abroad. I'm like, God, the food is so sweet. Like it's just an American taste. It's like when you go to Thailand and you can't eat the food because it's so spicy, you're just going to die. America's just the flip side of that. Like people want sweet things and they should have sweet things. It's fine.
I think famously Subway sandwiches went over to Ireland and they were legally not allowed to call their bread.
Oh, really?
Because it had too much of a high sugar content.
So they're like cake.
No, this has to be classified as cake here in Ireland under our health stuff. So you can't call it bread.
Cakes.
But it was like, right. Our stuff is way sweeter on average on a whole than anywhere else. That's just how it rolls.
This sugar stuff about fructose and added sugar, it makes me, I mean, everyone's always curious because people are starting to care more about sugar. So people are looking and they're saying, oh, does this have sugar? And they turn around and it says added sugar. Oh my God, it has sugar. That's great. People should be doing that. Mm-hmm. And with bread and everything, they should be looking and seeing if there's added sugar and avoiding added sugar. But it'd be really cool if it said glucose, this many grams, fructose, this many grams. Because then you could be like, actually, I don't really care about glucose so much. I really care more about, because I'm not diabetic, I really care more about fructose because I'm a human being and I don't want to get these metabolic disorders. Oh, I have to share one other thing. Agave syrup, right? Mm-hmm. We said 90% fructose.
Yeah.
Apples, 90% fructose.
They're so good.
Some of this asthma research cited the change in taste. Children changed in taste in the 70s or something from liking orange juice more to liking apple juice more. And that was when the asthma spike really took off. And they were like,
wow.
They were like, it might be feeding your kid apple juice. The most innocent thing that you can possibly imagine. It's 90% fructose, and it's giving the kid free fructose in their liver, childhood obesity and asthma. I mean, there's a lot of factors, obviously, because people might be doing all kinds of stupid things, sitting around playing video games, not moving around at all matters too, but not really, because French kids are sitting around playing video games, probably even less. I mean, Americans are addicted to sports. I was in Spain for a year. I don't think I saw anyone play sports once. Like no, everyone just sits around and they're not fat. No, so I mean, it may be that it doesn't even matter how much you move around. It matters more what you're putting in the system.
Well, and maybe that part is hopefully gradually shifting. I mean, not fast enough, but like when I was a kid, when I was a little kid, it was very normal for everyone to have apple juice all the time.
I
Like
know,
apple juice, chocolate milk, apple juice, whatever.
Yeah.
And then now when I have a little kid, it's very much more conscious of like, don't give them juice. That's like soda. Don't give them juice. That's just pure sugar or whatever. Like the word's out, but it still happens a lot, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, if people could even differentiate and say, you know,
these juices are more problematic than these others.
Yeah. Like if they want a treat, they want juice, great. Give them the low fructose fruit juices or whatever, you know. Because then that's the thing. That's where we can have our, I'm not, you know, if you get up on your soapbox and you say, nobody eat anything sweet, it's like, oh, fun is banned. You know, like, no one have cake for birthdays anymore.
Give me that apple juice. Here, take this brown rice sugar syrup juice.
Well, that might actually be delicious.
I mean, you can put some flavors in it.
Good. Yeah, that would be really good. Maybe we should start a brown rice sweetened soda company. You said you like soda.
I love soda.
Let's brew some cola, bro. Let's bro some cola.
Bro some cola brew.
Bro some cola brew. I can't get enough of this brown sugar syrup.
It's great, dude. Like, that's really great. Yeah. How did you discover this? Did someone turn you on to this, or was this through your reading and learning?
I Googled.
And then as soon
I tried
as
corn syrup, and I was like, corn syrup is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. It's sweet and good. But it was like, I was like, am I going to put this like in my coffee? Like, I don't drink coffee, but my tea and what am I going to use? I don't eat very much sugar at all because it's not very good for you. Even if you know what I mean? It's not good for you. You shouldn't drink sugar. You shouldn't have sugar at all. but if you do like sweets and you do want to have sugar,
be smart about
it. Avoid fructose and don't eat too much glucose, you know?
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't want to go around telling people what to do. I want to give people options,
which is what you're doing.
People resources. Yeah. Tell people, hey, we can still have sweet food, but do this.
Steer toward glucose.
Maybe so. Yeah.
In the glucose world, the things to steer for that are easy to hit up are the
brown rice syrup, corn syrup, and
sweetener,
corn
syrup. That's not high fructose corn syrup.
Right. Which sounds crazy because they sound exactly the same, but they're totally different. Yeah, but they're totally different.
Wow.
They even look the same, but they're totally different. Anyways, and I'll also add a huge asterisk to all this and say the science is still developing, but if I'll put the links in the show notes, people can do their own research, but pretty interesting stuff. And now we have to go to ads. Today's episode is brought to you by the Sugar Lobby. Please keep eating sugar. Please don't stop eating sugar.
We'd like to introduce our first sponsor, which is
brown
corn
rice
syrup.
Corn syrup, craft corn syrup division.
Big Glucose has gotten their hooks into us.
Yes, I am bought and sold by Big Glucose.
We are owned and operated now by puppets.
You know, we've offered this on the podcast before, but if anyone does want to buy us off, I think I'm pretty cheap. We're both
very cheap.
Affordable.
Oh yeah.
We're like an affordable buy off.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So if anybody's listening and they're like, God, these guys really have a lot of pull, you know, we should really buy them off.
Yeah. You might think I have strong like morals and convictions, but a yacht can change.
A yacht
so much.
That's like
right?
$1 million. How much does a yacht cost? I'd probably do it for half a yacht.
No idea.
I'd probably do a 30 yacht.
You definitely don't want half a yacht. That's going to be a bad boating experience for you. I'll just tell you, definitely get the whole yacht.
Is it the front half, back half, or the bottom half is probably the safest because it's underwater.
Either way, I mean,
it just sinks.
You need the whole thing boat wise. I don't understand boat science, but I think you need most of the boat.
Yes, but anyways, anyone who's listening, we are an affordable. We're on sale. We're like the Walmart
can be bribed
ethics.
Totally
Walmart ethics.
I'll agree with whatever you're saying. Yes.
Just send the money to the.
And if you do want to get in contact with us, it's perfect. You can contact Braus on Twitter at AJ Braus.
I'm leaving Twitter, man.
Oh, you're out?
Oh, I'm going.
Okay.
Now I'm on Post News.
Okay.
We'll give a little plug for Post
Throw it
News.
Out, yeah.
Post.news, Twitter alternative. It's still pretty. It needs to work, but it's being done by a serious guy. So you can check it out. Post.news. I'm at Adam Braus, the full name. At Adam Braus on Post News.
And I am a creature of habit, so
I'm still living in the dark ages.
I'm still at Scott Moppin on Twitter. I'll write it down. It's definitely less fun now, but
it's a hellscape.
I'm too lazy to do other things. What are you going to do?
And Post News it needs work, but come and join. It's fun. I think it'll be cool.
Well, contact us with solutions from. Yeah,
I'm still on Twitter too. You can.
What's the email address?
Solutions from the multiverse at gmail.com. There it is. We'll put it on we always have it in the show.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you can email us.
Thanks, everyone. We hope you have a sweet, sweet holidays here.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Sweet.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, be sweet people. Be sweet to each other.
Yes.
Eat sweet food. But
thanks for joining us.
Let's be safe. Let's be healthy.
This is coming out probably right before holiday time.
Probably.
Perfect.
All right, everybody.
Have a good one.
Have fun.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey there, thanks for listening to that episode of Solutions from the Multiverse.
Yeah, we're back with a little after roll. Hello.
Hey, after roll. Roll that after roll. So basically, we want you to subscribe.
Yeah.
And rate and review. And tell someone, like, take your favorite solution and send it to someone who you think it would like blow their mind to hear it.
Yeah, we love making the show. We're proud of it. And we're excited. We want other people to show. We know that the main way people find podcasts is word of mouth. I know that's true for me. I listen to my friends who also listen to podcasts tell me about ones, and I go, okay, I'm cluing into that. So we want to be part of that chain.
So thanks for being a part of Solutions.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again real soon.
Bye.
Bye.